I ended up reading a lot. Hello, welcome back to Starless Reads. My name is Leia, and I'm so happy you chose to spend some time with me today. I hope I'm speaking clearly enough. I'm not I don't want to yell or talk too loudly because I have neighbors and it's kind of late at night. So I want to be respectful. But since I have this full mic here, I think we should all be fine. So, today's video is really fun. Like I said, I'm usually in bed at this time of night. It's 10 p.m. at night. I know that's not that late. Don't judge my sleeping habits. Okay, I usually take my sleep very seriously, but not today. Today, we are having fun. So, sleep can wait, okay? I'm doing a 24-hour readathon. Oh, yes. And this time, I'm not doing the timer method. I'm doing the 24 hours, read as much as you can, okay? So from tonight, 10:30 tonight, up until 10:30 tomorrow night, I'm going to be reading as much as I can. And yeah, that's the challenge. Pretty easy, right? I'm not going to force myself to stay awake, not going to force myself to not sleep, because that's literally a method of torture, and we're not going to do any of that in this house. I am going to challenge myself to stay up a bit later and also wake up a bit earlier, and but I'm still going to sleep because I'm a human being. I need sleep to function, and I need to function in order to read and understand the books I'm reading. I still want to challenge myself though. I still want to set aside time, this 24-hour time period where I'm only focused on reading. Isn't that exciting? I'm actually really excited. If I'm seeming not that excited right now, it's because I'm low energy because it's the end of the day. But I really wanted to start this readathon at night so that tomorrow night when I end the readathon, I can go right to bed, I have my TBR here with me. I started filming a bit earlier before the readathon to be able to talk about a couple of the books I'm thinking of maybe picking up, introducing a couple of them. I'm being a very high achiever with this TBR. I'm never going to be able to read all of these books, let's be honest. But these are still all options, and I still want to talk about them because, yeah, they're all options, right? Okay. So the first book I'm actually probably going to read for sure is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This book I've already started. I'm on page 70 of this book, and I'm loving it so much. It's so freaking good. I've owned this book for a while now, never picked it up. Don't know why. So this is a Gothic book set in 1950s Mexico. We follow this young socialite called Noemi. She's sent to visit her cousin in a small town in the countryside, and her cousin married this rich guy, but no, the family was rich in the past. They're not rich anymore. And they're also British, I think, or of British descent, and they live in Mexico. So they're kind of high and mighty about being white, which is, yeah. And then they live in this old, castle, which is all coming apart and moldy because they don't have the money to upkeep it. And behind it, there's this huge, English cemetery, which is so creepy. There's fog and trees, and it's so atmospheric. I really like the atmosphere in this. The house is so creepy. And yeah, so right now, that's all we know. Noemi's kind of going to see if her cousin is okay. The family says that she has tuberculosis, which is why she's acting weird. But Naomi's like, no, there's something weird about this place. And yeah, I'm just obsessed with this. I've been needing some Gothic fiction in my life, and this is serving it. This is giving me everything that I need. So I think in this book, we're going to have a lot of discussion about eugenics because the family hosting her is like really racist. Um, and already I think like some of the gothic horror is going to be just like racism, which always up for a discussion like that. And yeah, I just love the descriptions in this. It's so like creepy. The house is so creepy, and I'm just pumped to see where this goes. So this is the first book I'm definitely planning on reading in this readathon. Then I have a couple of other books I'm just going to rapid fire show. Okay, first we have If We Were Villains. This would be a reread for me. This is a dark academia thriller. It's one of my favorite books of all time, and I read it for the first time last autumn, and I really want to reread this autumn, but we'll see if it's going to be in this readathon. I think rereads are good because they read quite fast. You already know the story, you already know the characters and everything, and it's just like diving back into something you already know you love. So yeah, they can be good for a readathon. We'll see if I'm in the mood to pick this up. I think it would be like a great book to put me into the fall mood, but we'll see. It's an option. Then I have the book I picked up from the library, which is The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek. This is fantasy inspired by Norse mythology. In this book, this woman, this witch, I think she's immortal actually. I'm not sure she's a woman. Maybe she's just like an immortal being. And she, I believe, lives on like the sidelines of society. She lives alone, very isolated, and then she falls in love with Loki, the god, the Norse god, and I don't know what happens next. But this is giving me Cersei vibes, but with Norse mythology instead of Greek mythology. So really interesting book, and obviously since it's from the library, it would benefit me greatly to read it sooner rather than later before it's due. And then I have okay, this book, preface to this, okay, before I show the book, I'm not planning on reading the whole book. Okay, I have the Divine Trilogy here by Dante Alighieri. I'm not planning on reading the whole thing because that's like 1,000 pages. I'm planning, maybe planning on reading Dante's Inferno, which is like the first 217 pages. It's like this little chunk. Okay, so if I do read from this, it's going to be only a little chunk. And the reasoning behind that is that either the day after tomorrow or the day after that, I'm going to receive Catabasis by R.F. Kuang, which is heavily inspired and based on Dante's Inferno. And I want to read the source material before reading R.F. Kuang's Catabasis. But I also know I'm going to want to read Catabasis as soon as I hold it in my hands, which means I have to read this before I get Catabasis in like 2 to 3 days. That's soon. That's real soon. So this is why it's on my TBR. We'll see if I have the brain power to manage this. Then I have a couple of options on Kindle. Recently, I got the free trial of Kindle Unlimited, so I just downloaded a bunch of stuff and we'll see what sticks. Right now, I was thinking maybe Keep It in the Family by John Mars, which is a like family thriller. Boy Parts by Eliza Clark, or maybe The Magician's Daughter by H.G. Perry, because I recently read another book by H.G. Perry, which I loved, which was The Scholar in the Last Fairy Door. So these are just a couple of options for me on my Kindle. And then if I feel like it, I'm probably going to feel like it. If I feel like it, I have some audiobooks options I looked at my Spotify and I was thinking maybe Hunger Stone on audiobook, a lesbian vampire fiction horror romance thing. And then my second option was maybe reading Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. I just randomly had the urge to pick this book up. I know it's really beloved right now. Like it's a really well loved book right now. John Green is obviously a really well known author, and this is just his nonfiction book about tuberculosis. And because I've been reading Mexican Gothic, which talks about tuberculosis in it, I was like, oh, I should read that John Green book about tuberculosis because I really don't know much about this disease. So yeah, those are kind of like my options, my plans. I should make like a proper choice which book to start. I should also maybe grab some snacks because that would be great to have. I made myself a tea already and yeah, okay, let's get prepared. I'm going to start with Mexican Gothic with my little reading light. And if my eyes get tired, I'm going to switch to Kindle. But for now, we're going to start with this one. So let's go. It's 10:30. All right, let's go. Let's start. Okay, we are 1 hour in. It's 11:30 and I got to page 132. I read about 60 pages in an hour, which is a page a minute, which is usually how fast I read any book. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting quite tired and I'm also getting a bit scared. Okay, it's not that scary. I think I'm just a scaredy cat, and it's the fact that I'm also home alone, so everything is kind of like spooky. But I think I'm going to finish the chapter and then I'm going to grab something on my Kindle that's less spooky, less scary, and move to my bed and continue reading from there until I fall asleep. Maybe. I don't know. I'm already feeling quite tired, but I think maybe doing a face mask could be good. It would like wake up my face and make me feeling all fresh and shit. I have to brush my teeth and do my skincare and all of that, so maybe it's going to like wake my face up. I don't know. But I'm gonna start by finishing the chapter and then I'll move to my bed because yeah, it's only 1 hour in. We're not giving up, okay? Let's not worry. Okay, updating from my bed. I'm now in bed. The book I've decided to pick for my Kindle is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick. It's like darker fantasy, kind of gothic vibes. I was trying to find a book that would fulfill my wishes of like something spooky, gloomy, fall mood without being scary. I think One Dark Window is going to be good for that because like the atmosphere and like the ambiance is gloomy, but I don't think anything actually scary is going to happen. Whereas in Mexican Gothic, I was getting so freaking scared. I don't know, maybe I'm just weak. So Noemi kept having nightmares, and those nightmares, I don't know, there's something about them that was just making me scared. And then I think I have some electricity problem in my building because the lights were flashing and I was just so scared. So the book is still like really good. And it's like it's meant to be scary, so it's doing well its job. The family is so weird. There's something wrong with the family in that house. I'm thinking maybe like everyone is either sick or old or like it's all weird. I'm thinking maybe there's something going on with like experiments for immortality or something like that. Like something weird. But something weird is definitely going on in that family. Everyone in the village is like, oh, that family is cursed. Or no, I feel like it's not a curse. It's not like a supernatural thing. I think it's a human thing, and that's even scarier. Yeah, Mexican Gothic is so good. I needed to change my mind, to take my mind off of the scary things. So I'm gonna pick it up in the morning once it's light out and I feel human again. But right now, I'm just going to settle in bed and read a couple of pages of One Dark Window until I fall asleep. I'm thinking of putting an alarm on for tomorrow morning. I was thinking either 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. I don't know if 4 a.m. is too intense. I think it's going to be 5 a.m. Is that too much? Let's try 5 a.m. Let's challenge ourselves. We'll see if I hate it in the morning. I'm probably going to hate it in the morning, but honestly, right now, I feel like tired, but not like dying tired. So we'll see. I'm just gonna go read and I'm gonna stop yapping and keep doing the challenge instead of talking to you guys. Good morning. I am so tired. Yeah, but I'm awake. It's now 7 a.m. I've been awake for like 2 hours. It's 7 a.m. and now I'm like fully awake, I would say. And since I woke up, I've been listening to John Green's audiobook, Everything is Tuberculosis. And it's such a great audiobook. I am like, it was the perfect thing for me this morning because my eyes were not ready to read words on pages yet. So I decided to listen instead. And I also wanted to put makeup on because that immediately makes me feel less sleepy. Like once I get makeup on, it's like, oh, I can't go to sleep anymore because if I go to sleep, I need to wash my face first. So it's kind of tricking my mind into waking up a bit more. So yeah, I'm now halfway through the audiobook. It's a really short audiobook, but it's super interesting and it's really personal to John Green as well. He talks about how he got interested in studying tuberculosis. He talks about the history of tuberculosis and how intertwined it is with everything in our society, how much it can explain about our society, and how much of our society can be reflected in how we treat and perceive the disease to this day. I kind of feel ashamed I didn't know more about tuberculosis reading this because it's still like I in my mind it was something of history, like nobody really suffers of tuberculosis anymore, but that's not true. Like, of course, in rich countries, people don't suffer from tuberculosis because we have the cure, but in many other countries, people suffer from the disease and die. So, in the past few years, tuberculosis has been the disease that killed the most people, apart from that short period, like I think between 2020 and 2023, 2022, I think. in that short period where COVID-19 was the deadliest disease, but then it came back quickly to tuberculosis because the countries which are most affected by the disease are where the cures are not. Um, they don't have the cures, and if they do have the cure, the medicine for tuberculosis makes you really hungry, and your body craves a lot of nourishment, and those countries are usually where people are most malnourished. So even if they have the appropriate cure, appropriate medicine to take, they cannot eat enough to survive. Um, it's horrible. And so, yeah, John Green narrates the audiobook. It's super accessible as well. John Green writes in a way that is super comprehensible for anyone. You don't need to know shit. You don't need to know shit. And he writes really well in that way. Like, so it's great. Even for my tired morning brain, like I was entranced with everything in this audiobook. I really recommend the audiobook, by the way. I think reading nonfiction is the best through audiobook. So yeah, like I said, it's now 7 a.m. and I'm hungry as fuck. I am going to eat breakfast and I'm going to make my first coffee of the day. I haven't had coffee yet. So that might also explain why I'm still tired of it. But yeah, I'm going to make breakfast right now. I just wanted to update you all on my reading first. Oh, and also last night, I barely read before sleep. I think I read for like maybe 20 minutes after saying bye to you guys. I made it to page 25 out of 423 in one dark window. That's 5%. Hey, that's not nothing. 5%, you know? Um, it's close to nothing, but it's not nothing. And now it's time to eat. I'm so hungry. Hello, it's now almost 9 a.m. and I finished my first book of the readathon. I finished the audiobook, Everything is Tuberculosis. It was so good. My thoughts about it remain kind of the same that I just explained to you guys earlier. Like, really good book, really informative, well said, well told. It's super quick. I listened to the entirety of it in almost one sitting, and yeah, it was really good. So I recommend it. But now I'm going to switch format and go back to Mexican Gothic and try to finish it. Not try, I'm going to finish it. I'm thinking of putting on some reading sprints and sitting at my desk to read while watching reading sprints. That's going to motivate me. I also found a really cool playlist on Spotify that gives all the gothic vibes for the story. Like, there are so many songs from the soundtrack of Hunting of Hill House, Hunting of Bly Manor, like this kind of vibe. It's perfect for the story. So I'm excited to dive back into this, and now that I'm not scared anymore. So yeah, let's do that now. I'm now on page 200, and so that means I'm 2/3 of the way through this book, and it's getting so frustrating. Like, our main character is such a smart young woman. She knows so much about so many different topics. She knows about different topics in science, in psychology, in literature. She just knows a lot about the world, and she's also interested in learning more about the world. She's really curious. She wants to find answers, and obviously now she's put in this horrible situation at this house, and no one wants to explain anything to her. No one wants to give her answers, so she is kind of trying to find answers on her own, and nothing makes sense. The house is weird. The people in the house are weird, but everyone is gaslighting her into thinking she's like going crazy, thinking that like she's the weird one. Like, no, she's not the weird one. And it's so frustrating because like obviously weird things are happening, but and she's like, am I going crazy? She's having weird ass dreams, and she doesn't know, are they dreams, are they reality? Like, it's blurry and fucked, and she just wants to understand. It is so frustrating because it's like, we know she's smart, but she's also a woman in the 1950s. She has no one on her side, no one listens to her, and everyone is treating her like she's historical and knows nothing. So I'm excited for things to get revealed soon because it's so frustrating. Anyways, let's keep reading. I am happy to report that I finished my second book of the readathon, Mexican Gothic. I just finished reading this book. It was so good. It was so fucked as well, and that's why I loved it. This was so sick and twisted in the best way possible. Yeah, it's everything I love about a Gothic novel. There's like social commentary, there's a haunted house, there's creepy dreams, creepy everything. There's also mushrooms. They're really cool. Well, they're not like cool, but you know, mushrooms in general as like a thing are cool. But in this book, they're not that cool. They're kind of messy. Yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. I think the ending, not that I didn't like the ending, I think I could have liked it more if it was slightly different, but overall a really well done book. Yeah, I'm really glad I read it. I'm not sure yet if it's one of my new favorites. I think it was before the ending, and now because of the ending that I just read, I'm kind of like, is it a favorite or is it just like a really good book, but not a favorite? So I'm gonna have to think on it, and who knows? If I keep thinking about it all the time, then it means it's a favorite, even though I didn't love the ending. Like, it still like makes sense. It's still a great book. So yes. Now it's noon and I'm starting to get hungry. I'm going to eat lunch, and then I also want to leave my apartment because I'm starting to feel kind of cabin fever. Like, I need to go outside. It looks actually nice outside today. The whole week it was gloomy and rainy and shit, but today there's some sun. So I'm thinking of going outside, and I also need to run some errands. So that means I'm going to need an audiobook because I can't really do errands and read a physical book at the same time. So, what I was thinking, I still have some hours on Spotify audiobooks, and I was thinking of picking up The Witch's Heart on Spotify. I won't be able to listen to the entire thing on audiobook because my hours are not going to be enough, but I have the physical copy. So I'm thinking of going back and forth and between the physical and the audiobook, and then yeah, using the audiobook when I cannot physically read. So, yes, this is my plan. This is a 347 pages book. I think I can read this entire thing today, but we'll see. I don't know. So yeah, that's my plan right now. I'll keep you updated on what I end up doing. Hello, it's now 2:30 p.m. I have a little yarn haul to do. I was supposed to go to Michael's to pick up one yarn, this one, to finish up a project that I had already started, and I was missing some yarn, so this is what I went to get. But then all of their yarn were 25% off. So I was like, I just picked up 3 colors of this cotton, just 100% cotton thing. I picked it in black, this like pink, really cute pink, and then in white. So yeah, I bought more yarn, and I know I already have a lot, but I wanted cotton, and all my other yarn was acrylic. I also have an update for you guys. So, like I said earlier, I started The Witch's Heart on audiobook, and I made it to page 100. And I have the regrets to tell you I'm DNFing this. I'm not gonna finish this. This was really nothing like I expected. So with just like the synopsis, I compared it to Circe in my mind, because they're both like myth retelling. Just one is Greek and the other is Norse. How do I go about this? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say that I know much less about Norse mythology than I do Greek mythology. So maybe some of these things, some of these complaints I have are not with this retelling, just with the base myth, which the author has no control over. So maybe some of those complaints are like not that accurate to the book, to this book in particular. Yeah, so I know like vaguely Loki is a god, and he is like a trickster, a shapeshifter kind of god. And I went into this obviously not expecting Avengers Loki. I don't want anyone to think I was expecting Avengers Loki. I was not. But yes, so I went into this knowing like, oh, this is about a witch, an immortal witch, and this god. And there's some sort of love story and then some sort of betrayal, I think. What really throws me off about this book is the dialogue, because they are talking like teenagers. Like, it's so weird. Like, they're really behaving and talking like teenagers in like a high school teenage series. Like, I don't know. That's not what I'm expecting when I'm expecting immortal gods, immortal beings who've been alive for thousands of years. I don't know. I think I was expecting something else. Also, the book is giving very, very heteronormative, which, okay, maybe that's just the base myth. I don't want to be like nitpicky on these things because I don't know. I'm not that familiar with the base myth, but it's very heteronormative. The main character, the witch, she has like no personality. She lives for her babies and for Loki, who's just a deadbeat husband, a deadbeat dad. He's never around, and when he is, he's being annoying and talking like a jock in a high school TV series. Like, this is not this. No, no, no. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So we're doing nothing. I'm not finishing this. Maybe the book gets better. I don't care enough to see if it does. This really bummed me out. I was expecting such a good book. Like, I was expecting, like, not fairy tale, but like mystical, magical writing, beautiful, lyrical, And I got that shit. Like, okay, I just decided I'm going to be reading Keep It in the Family by John Mars right this second. I'm starting this. I don't care anymore. I need to read something. I want to, and a thriller. My expectations are always kind of low with thrillers. They're not my favorite genre like fantasy is. So when I go into a thriller, I'm not expecting much, and I usually end up like feeling pleasantly surprised because I'm not that used to reading thrillers. So I'm not that familiar with all of the tropes and the usual twists and turns. So even if it's supposed to be like a very easy to figure out plot twist or anything, I usually don't figure it out. So yeah, I'm gonna read that one. I've read other things by this author, but usually I was reading his like science fiction, Black Mirror type books, like The One and The Passengers. But this one is really just a familial thriller. So I'm gonna read that one. Hello, it is now 4 p.m. and I have a snazzy little reading update for you guys. I got 100 pages into Keep It in the Family by John Mars, and now I can kind of say more about what it's about, more than just, oh, it's a familial thriller, because there's family in the title. Like, it's not that hard of a reach to say it's a familial thriller. I really didn't know anything about this before starting it, but now I know more because I've read 100 pages. We follow this couple. They're pretty young and they just bought their first house, and the house that they bought is like a really old Victorian house. It needs to be fixed up. Like, it needs work. It's not like ready to be lived in house. It definitely needs a lot of work, and they put all of their savings in this house. It's like their big project. They're kind of scared of like, oh my god, are we doing a mistake? Like, this is an old ass house. It's going to be so much work to fix it and everything. But they decide to do it. They put all of their money in it. And yeah, they decide to fix the house, right? And they're in the process of fixing that house when and the woman in the couple is tearing the wallpaper off the walls because she doesn't want to keep the old crappy wallpaper of the house. So she's tearing off the wallpaper, and under the wallpaper there's this really creepy message that says, "I will save them from the attic," in like a child writing, really creepy. And the husband is like, "Oh, it's just like kids probably just doing pranks," and yeah, this house was abandoned, so maybe just kids came around here, and they wanted to do a prank. Like, who cares? It's nothing. It's just kids, right? But she's like, okay, yeah, maybe it's just kids, but let's still go check the attic, because if there's a creepy message saying something about the attic of the house, you need to go check the attic after that. So they go up, check the attic, and there are 7 children's bodies found in their attic. First of all, trauma, like, oh my god. Um, Reading books like this make me never want to buy a house ever. That and haunted houses books, I'm like, what if I buy a house without knowing that the vibes are bad and I end up on a murder house? And like, first of all, yeah, trauma, finding like corpses, um, and also for kids and poor families of these kids, right? But also, I would be so freaking pissed. Like, they put all of their savings into that house. They put so much work into that house. Like, imagine you've been working for months on a house and like you've put all of your life saving into it, and now it's a murder house. Like, what the fuck can you do? Like, tear it down? Like, you can't live there anymore. Murders happen there. Anyways, so we follow this couple who made this atrocious discovery, and they're kind of fucked up after that. And then there's a separate point of view who is the killer, I think. I'm not sure. But it's definitely someone who kills people. So I'm not sure if it's the same killer of the kids in the attic, but it's someone who kills people for sure, because they're very detailed about killing people. So those are like the 2 different plots happening. I'm curious to see where this goes. This is all I'm going to say about this, because after that I feel like it's kind of getting into spoiler territories, so I'm not going to say any more information about this story. But yeah, so far it's quite interesting. I was hoping there was the audiobook for it on Spotify, but it wasn't there. And I feel so sad about that, because I'm really in the mood to crochet. I really want to crochet, but I need to read at the same time. But I'm also in the mood to read that book. Like, I don't want to pick another audiobook. So what are we gonna do? I don't know. My Kindle says I have like 3 hours left to read of this book. We'll see how long it actually takes me. But like I said, it's only 4 p.m. So I'm going to probably read for another hour or 2 before I go into making dinner and all of that. So yeah, I'll let you know when I have some updates. Okay, hello. It is now 8:30. I have 2 hours left in this readathon, and I have some updates before I go back to reading. So earlier I stopped reading at 56% in Keep It in the Family. That's chapter 47. And my Kindle says I have exactly 2 hours left to read in this book. So I'm going to try to make this update real short so that I can go back to this and finish it exactly when the readathon ends. If it ends up being a little bit after, that's fine too. But you know, it would be so great to finish exactly at 10:30, you know. But yeah, so I stopped and then I made dinner and I ate. And while I did all of that, I listened to 2 novellas, 2 full novellas. The first one is The Empress of Salt and Fortune, and the second one is When the Tigers Came Down the Mountain, both by Niveau. So we love Niveau in this house. I love Siren Queen by her. I also love City of Glass by her. And I had Empress of Salt and Fortune and that whole like series of novella in like my mental TBR for a while. I just never really purchased any of the books because since they're all novellas, it's kind of expensive for such a short book. Like they're all around 100 to 150 pages, which is really not that big. And yeah, so I was kind of like hesitant. I knew I was interested in them, but I didn't know how to consume the story. I ended up listening to them on Spotify. I knew I had not a lot of Spotify hours left, so I knew that with these books, I was sure to be able to like finish them completely and not be abruptly stopped in the middle of them and have to not have listening hours anymore, you know? So I listened to both of those and it was incredible. They're standalone novellas, but they're in the same world. And they're technically in a series, but I think you could read them in any order. I don't think it really matters. And it's fantasy, and we follow this person named Chi, and they're kind of a scholar, storyteller person. They basically travel the land and they gather stories and history. So, yeah, so every novella is about a different little story. The first one is about the story of the Empress of Salt and Fortune, like the title says. And then the second one is about this love story between a scholar and a tiger woman. And yeah, so I think the whole thing, the world, it's magical, it's whimsical, um, it feels like fairy tales and such, and it's also all very, very queer, which we love. There are so many sapphics in there, which we love. So yeah, I've listened to those two books in the past hours, and I now want to listen to the whole entire series. I am so happy I found like this gem of a series of little novellas. I'm going to take my time and savor every one of them. I think there's a lot. There's like 6 or 7 of them out. So that's great for me. I don't know. I know it's great for me. But like I said, it's now 8:30, 8:37 now because I talked too much. But I'm going to read and finish Keep It in the Family. And yeah, then I'll be done with the challenge. Oh my god. Okay, let's do this. We are done. We're done. We're done. We're done with the challenge. It's 10:30. I read for 24 hours straight, except for when I was sleeping for a couple hours last night, and also when I went to the bathroom. But other than that, I read for 24 hours straight, which is so good. I'm so happy. I'm actually feeling like energized right now, which is kind of crazy because I didn't have a lot of sleep last night, but I did take a lot of caffeine today, so that's probably it. But yeah, I'm so happy with the result of this. I ended up reading a lot. So the last book I just finished, it was perfect, by the way. I finished it at 10:24. So it's like everything was already set up, like it was planned or something. I finished Keep It in the Family by John Mars, and the first half of it, I was like, okay, where is this going? I feel like I already know everything that's gonna happen, like the plot twist and everything. So I was kind of bored. But then the second half, like that last 2 hours I read of it was crazy. Um, like batshit crazy, and yeah, I could never have guessed anything that happened in that section. So yeah, I'm happy. It entertained me for sure. It was disturbing. It was really disturbing. So yeah, if you like disturbing thrillers, go ahead. A lot of thrillers are disturbing actually, so I guess this is just on par with every single thriller in the genre, but yeah, it was disturbing. It was twisty, turny, could not keep up with it. Yeah, it was good for what it was. I will have to say there was a couple of typos in the ebook. I will have to say that. Other than that, it was okay, but just, a couple of typos. Come on, man. Come on, John. Edit that book. Yeah, I read Keep It in the Family in its entirety. I started the readathon by reading Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. Another John, two Johns in this video. I also read like 230 pages of Mexican Gothic, which definitely my favorite book out of all this vlog. Well, no, yeah, definitely my favorite book of the vlog. But I also listened to The Empress of Salt and Fortune and When the Tigers Came Down the Mountain. I think that's the title of the second one. I'm not sure, but both of those were so great. So yeah, I listened to 3 great audiobooks. I also read like 30 pages of One Dark Window, which is really not enough for me to have any opinion about that book. I don't know if I'm gonna continue it. I guess only time will tell. And then I also read 100 pages of The Witch's Heart, and I also promptly DNF'd it because that was not it. And am I missing anything? I think not. So I quickly tallied up all of my pages read for this readathon, and if I'm not mistaken, I read just over 1,100 pages in 24 hours. So 1,100 pages in 24 hours. That's pretty good. That's pretty, well done, right? Yes, of course, some of this was listened to and not read physically, but it still ends up being 1,100 pages. I'm feeling so happy with everything I read except The Witch's Heart. I'm not feeling happy about that one, but everything else, I'm feeling so happy about it. And yeah, I'm just like feeling so hyped about reading now. I want to read so much more. And I've just read a lot. So, okay, so this is the end of this video. I will have to tell you bye now. If you're interested in seeing more of this type of videos from me, you can subscribe or check out any other videos from this channel. I do a lot of reading vlogs if you like this type of content. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.